All right, folks, here we go. We are in the business, and we're starting off on Ascent, folks. The grand finals here for the Immortals. First Light, presented by GameStop, is about to go underway. Fun fact, used to work at GameStop many years ago. Got fired. We won't talk about it. Anyway.
Surprised they let you on this broadcast then, Goldenboy. Jeez, got some bridges you burned. I
don't think they knew. I went by a different name, Osvaldo, back in the day. Yes, that's right.
You anticipated this moment coming in the future.
I knew it would happen eventually.
Definitely stoked to see this play out on Ascent, though. We have seen some Ascent so far today, but people are still trying to figure out exactly what their set pieces are for this, what the proper default is. Obviously, a lot of pressure can be applied through mid, and if you can't crack mid open, you can have some difficulty. But we're going with a standard, actually not so much. Defenders heavily stacked over into the A site, potentially anticipating TSM making this rotation on through as well.
Yeah, I've seen A kind of be a point of interest for a lot of players as they're learning this map. I don't know what it is about it and what works, but let's also, as we dive deeper into this and we have a little bit of time here, let's talk about the compositions that we're seeing, because on one side, we have no Brimstone present, but TSM, they are actually going to be running Wardell on the Sova. Not surprising considering what the Sova brings to the table. You're going to have Drone consistently on the trusty Phoenix. Hayes, more than likely, yeah, Hayes is going to be playing the Sage there. And I've just been shocked with the fact that we've been seeing some like crazy strategies today, Gabby, with like Sageless comps. It genuinely just caught me off guard. But Sub Rosa is going to be able to get first blood on there, and Skylar pushes forward, and it's just TSM marches on through to the B site. But that kill is going to be dropped. Mitch does manage to find the target. Now we're going to find ourselves into a 2v3. Cloud9 need to try and retake this site here. You got to look for that Sova. Give your Cypher a little line of sight. Mitch, nice shot right through the structure there. It's going to actually provide Vice maybe an opportunity to go on to this right end here. And I think that was going to be scouted out. So Vice knows exactly where they're going to be. And here comes the push forward, as they're going to tackle this attack here. And this is looking very good for TSM. There was a good effort by Mitch and Vice, without a doubt, but it would be TSM in the back room that holds strong.
Oh, I caught the tail end of that. Unfortunately, the fight went out of the way of my screen for a moment, but in the end, it looked like, as far as the defensive positioning, how when you have to collapse from the outside corridors and you already have the remaining members of attack set there in the back site, fully took advantage of it on the side of TSM to punish Cloud9 infringing upon them.
That's going to put TSM up 1-0 there at the beginning. Very well done by them, leaving Cloud9 with minimal options here, as they are broke, will need to save. 10's only one that actually purchases as far as getting a Sheriff, and we know what 10's is capable of doing with this. Wouldn't be a shocker to see him cap a few players as they try and make a push on through here. And 10's, actually, I'm kind of surprised that 10's is going to be playing the Sage, but I do like the changeup here from Cloud9. Didn't get to see the Gen G game, so I don't know what their game plan was there specifically, but as all that was going on, Wardell, though, it doesn't matter what kind of gun in his hand, so long as it's a sniper rifle or some kind of gun that contains a scope, he will find his mark. And that will leave only one player left alive. It's going to be Vice, who gets spammed right through the smoke, comes through. Wardell was waiting for him with that Spectre, and that is going to do it.
Give you a little transparency. I'm experiencing some of the Minecraft effects that Pansy left behind for my position. You know, I guess I haven't been playing it enough, apparently, and it's mad at me for it. But
I am a Minecraft savant, just so you know. I have many diamonds. I have a lot of diamonds, all the diamonds.
Well, there you go. I like to keep the diamonds on my fingers instead of on my screen, you know.
Ooh. Fair. I don't know. That was a good flex. I wasn't expecting that flex, really.
You know, I got you, Goldenboy. I got you.
I respected hustle. You know, respected hustle. All right. Well, let's just jump back in here for round number 3, as we're gonna see Sova playing over by the B site there, and just look at those shock arrows. It's kind of been the story here, right? Players taking advantage of the kit with Sova. Skylar gets 2 kills, though, and Mitch actually helps him out. That's going to leave a bad taste in TSM's mouth, as the only 2 players left alive are going to be Sub Rosa and Drone. Drone, though, is going to be firmly on this B site here, and I don't know if they're necessarily going to be expecting him here. And he actually finds one, oh, but cannot find the second player there. Now that's just going to leave Sub Rosa. The bomb down over by B site. So you got to obtain that spike there. And I don't know if Sub Rosa has many options, but what he does have on his side, which will dwindle very quickly, is time. If Sub Rosa can get this pick on the Vice, Gabriella, this can actually really present a winning opportunity here for TSM.
And Vice out in the open, trying to, there you have it. Defender side taking that one away. First victory over for Cloud9 side. They weren't too worried about getting that loss in round number 2 due to the economy portion, but here, this does apply a bit of pressure over to the TSM side. Not enough money across all of them for full buy, so they'll have to scatter and make some purchases for the others. But on the side of Cloud9, we are getting some partial buys out in the meantime. I am going to click this link. Take it away, Goldenboy, while I fix my Minecraft.
Do your thing. Don't worry about it. I will. Life finds a way. Life finds a way. All right, so now we're into the action here, and we're gonna have Cutler poking around on A side, seeing what he can pull away from this team, what kind of utility he can snag out of this. Shinobi's waiting, anticipating that there could be a potential push here on the A site. But little does he know, players are actually going to be stacked up on mid. Another smart play there from Mitch. I actually thought you can send a drone through there. Joke's on me. And joke's on Mitch as well, unfortunately. Door is going to be closed, and now as time continues to tick away, Sub Rosa inching around here. I think he may have heard Tens drop from that wall. The wall is only going to last 30 seconds now. You're not going to get much value out of that, but that means wall out of play in case they want to try and take A site. And they're just waiting right now for a pick, and it could come in the form of Shinobi around this corner. I sure hope Bob isn't looking, because his friend might actually meet his demise here. But it's actually going to be Shinobi shooting out with that SMG. Does not nail the shot though. Looking to nail him with the aftershock, and he manages to do that one there. And then the challenge comes up top from Hayes, and just like that, you think that it was all going to work out for TSM, and then just like that, Cloud9 managed to bring this one back 2-2. And let's take a look now at this replay. This was Shinobi just dropping that right in front of Drone. Drone, none the wiser, I mean, surely Drone heard the shots behind him, but could have been a little further away. Either way, though, that was very well executed.
I think I'm coming back in a little bit. I did manage to catch the wonderful aftershock there. I love Breach, so I'm always happy when I see something like that properly executed. But as far as what we have seen on our screen right now, it's a default split apart for TSM here on the attacking side. Looks galore, a nice hit from Tens here to get that pick off of Catwalk, enough to clear it and run it back over onto A site.
What excites me about this matchup is that anything that Wardell can do, Tens can do as well. It's always just been, or at least for this tournament, the snipers have really taken center stage. And you know, your oppers are typically going to be those playmakers, right? The character actors, if you will, in these types of scenarios. But it's just something awesome to see a person like Tens or Wardell pop off with this. Vice has his back though. Tens drops away. That's just going to leave one player left alive. It's Drone, the madman with Phoenix. What is he able to do there? I think he is going to be met any moment now by Vice. But checking his corners, clearing the site, and there goes the tag. But look at that shot. Absolute filth. And Vice is just waiting this one out. He gave away his position, but Tens was there with the shorty right to the dome. Ended that round.
Alrighty.
Are you good now?
I think I'm good. I'm not gonna jinx it, but
yeah, no.
Thank you for taking that island by yourself. Appreciate everyone bearing with me. I had to get rid of the Minecraft, get some Valorant loaded up here effectively. And
I just like how the Minecraft is a thing now.
Yeah, you know, that's the only acceptable way to describe that point
Lauren
in time.
who said that, or was it Puckett? I don't know, but either way, it's hilarious.
Yeah, something of the sort. But so I'm going to do a little bit of catch up in my brain so far as what we have been witnessing at this point. TSM still on the attack, obviously. And it looks like it's a commitment over onto the B side, pushing forward from the opposition, gets a pop from drone onto the Omen. Great way to start cracking that open, but it's a single trade so far. Smoking off over onto market to make this push more effective as Subrosa does get that entry effectively. And here it is with the ultimate to go ahead and block off market as well. Can Shinobi get this with the aggression into B main? But unfortunately, there's a sniper on the other side.
Yeah, Wardell has been clinical, like a surgeon with that weapon. It's been working out so well for them. So now you're going to have Color playing in the mid, but Vice is on the CT side. So on defense side, wrapping around to B. Wardell will be watching that lane aggressively with the op. I would be shocked if he drifts away. Instead, he's sending out the drone, though, which is a smart play to do. And he found him. He found the mark. He found the target. He also tagged him, too, forcing Vice to have to rip out that dart that is going to be sitting inside of his chest there. And now Vice is just going to try and poke this one out. Goes for the shot. Actually does a little bit of damage to Wardell. Not enough, though. And as Cutler came around the corner, he beams him right in the head. It's going to be 14 HP in a dream. He tried to wrap around and hit him with the right click of the classic, but instead it's Wardell who downs him with his very own classic. That's going to make it 3-3 now.
You do have to commend the attempt. He knew where the owl drone came from, wanted to go ahead and follow up to get that entry into sight, was able to get the frag over from the B main entryway, but nonetheless, the classic was not enough in that scenario. As far as with the buyouts that we're coming across this point in time, Cloud9 gets their full buy. Operated directly over for Tens, the man that we love to see it on. Tens and Wardell, as Goldenboy just had mentioned. That's what you're going to be watching off. Op versus off, who is going to pop off the most?
And taking a look there, so you have Tens watching mid. And Wardell's actually going to be creeping mid as well. He will be working with Subrosa there. They're bringing that bomb around, so Spike can play in mid. They've gotten some intel. Yeah, this is an interesting wrap there, but I like the slow play at mid, Gabby, because that means that, you know, they know that there's not going to be a lot of activity over there, but that can also imply, and it's really going to be up to whatever Cutler can do here, that what they can manage to pull away from this. A run it back actually gives him a ton of information, but Tens, I mean, he was right on top of that wall, and certainly Drone did not expect it with the way that he just wrapped around that corner. This is going to flatline him there for the time being. And you're going to have Shinobi on this big flank, Gabby.
Yeah, Shinobi, he was waiting there, but Wardell luckily able to find that upon their entry. It's been a slow push completely through mid for TSM, and the response from Cloud9 to back off did allow them to have some kind of foothold, but in the end, they are starting to trickle down in numbers on the defense. TSM rotating effectively over towards the B site, worried simply about a Silva and a Cypher that's coming all the way from A. And that's going to take too much time for him to make his way through, so that's going to be an effective push over from the attacker side.
That actually was such a great round there. They pulled out so much utility. That wall going out, while it was a really smart play from Tens, now that wall is just going to be tucked away on the opposite side. This was also another critical shot, and just Wardell coming up clutch again. Just the flick there was absurd. It was a matter of seconds, because as soon as that trap wire went off, the breach turned around, like had eyes on it, but Wardell was right there watching his back. And it's a good thing that there was no friendly fire there, because he definitely would have killed his teammate. That said, though, Subrosa and Hayes are going to open up the round and pick themselves up 2 kills here. And LeTigress, this is looking pretty solid for TSM so far. Let's see how they're going to be able to maybe look for this executor, and they're actually splitting a lot of this attention.
Yep, Cloud9 responded differently this time, more aggressively positioned with their defensive hold. Unfortunately, got punished for that over on the B site, but have still 2 standing strong on the A site. This gives the information to TSM that they have some more fluid movement through B, but Relic is still here to keep hold of this and gets the pop out, uses his own elf teleport to redirect himself and potentially get another, but Subrosa sees it through the dark cover, gets himself onto the site, and this should be another plant over for TSM.
Yeah, that was massive there. Just getting that blip so that he knew exactly where he needed to be. But here comes the push now as Tense is actually going to just try and shoot through this one. And a res actually to help out a teammate, bring him back into this one. So Omen actually dies instantly, so Relic's not able to stay alive, but Tenz is going to get the better of Wardell. That's just going to leave one player left alive. It's Sub Rosa. He's playing low. Can Sub Rosa clutch it? And he does. What a play there from Sub Rosa. The Brimstone holds it down right on the low ground. Wow.
Man. It was going to be over as soon as the Sova was taken out and he was all in his lonesome directly onto the site. You see the way Tenz was able to clear completely into the back of site. They had the information that the attacker remaining was here, but Sabrosa effectively catching over from the defender rotation before reverting his eyes to Catwalk. Effective crosshair use for him.
And also bear in mind that the play there on the crouch, right? Because when you crouch down, you don't see where that person's going to be. Unfortunately, the hero of the last round, Sabrosa, dies and gets that first blood, but Hayes is there for the pickup. Actually goes that near sight there, Paranoia. Such a good ability. You know, when I was casting Twitch Rivals, Myth was actually doing a brilliant job on those Paranoias, lining them up exactly where they need to. And a lot of people don't know how to respond. Everyone always thinks about the Raze, or the Raze, you hear me? I always do that. The Reyna, two names with R and it always throws me off. The Reyna Paranoia, right? When she throws Lear, but Omen, I mean, it's always been good and it can catch a lot of people through one straight line. And then before you know it, you sent that thing through a choke and there's nothing they could do to stop it.
Yeah, whether you actually put them into a nearsighted position or just force some displacement.
Look at this.
Shinobi attempts to get his shots over this wall. It's an angle where you can barely tap the hairs on the top of the head, but Vice is the one to go get it from the A main entryway. Luckily, Cloud9 will start to rotate directly onto the site, but the post-plant positioning has been taken up by the 3 remaining TSM members who have their eyes on this entryway. There's a Cypher lurking in main, but he is not anymore as Hayes takes him out of the equation.
Yeah, there's not really much he could do there. You have a Relic Skylar, that Bulldog, but not able to stand toe-to-toe there in the end against that Phantom, thus ending the hopes and dreams of that round. TSM are going to go up 6-3 here. For just joining us, grand finals of the Immortals First Light presented by GameStop. Been a long road to get up to this point. We had a great open bracket qualifier that took place. Echo 8 and China Win came out of that one. China Win actually took, I want to say it was Gen G to a game 3, I believe. Yeah, they took Gen G to game 3. So I think, you know, nothing but upwards potential for that roster. Includes Fortnite
there they are.
World Cup runner-up Psalm. Always been a big fan of his, but I've also been a big fan of this TSM lineup ever since I first started casting them in a few of those Twitch Rivals competitions. And I mean, this team has just been a joy to watch. But now here comes the attack.
No more charges left.
They're trying to just bait out what they can, but it is going to be Mitch. Lines up the shot there, Gabs, against Hayes. And just look at the way that they're preventing them from being able to get any kind of foothold inside of this site. Just playing those angles gorgeously.
And this was all led in with the Brim Smokes dropped down by TSM. While they are great at preventing the rotations from the defenders, they do forecast this a bit. Cloud9 was able to easily respond, very aware of the fact that TSM is stacked here in the B main, but there's no reason to push it to Rosa. The first one to make his way into the cycle. Wardell is following up with Ob. Then still doesn't need an Ob for himself to get that damage, though. Those 2 frags are going to be very effective for Cloud9 in trying to get them corralled here. But Wardell, why he doesn't care? He can hold on to the same position the entire time and continue to grab.
Yeah, but they did lose a lot of value there. I think that the play could have potentially have been to place down the Brim ult right at the back of defender side so that this way you can remove it and pull that attention over there. But this is going to be the end of the run there for TSM. Cloud9 manages to come out on top. But yeah, losing Sub Rosa early on, one has to wonder what their plan would have been with the orbital strike, because if they placed that backside, pulled a lot of attention and maybe had 2 players backside, that actually like would go really poorly for Cloud9 there. In keeping track of what ults are going to be online, it's an important part of this game, especially when you have such high impact ults such as the Brimstone ult and as well as Rolling Thunder for the Breach. Those are just so imperative to be able to use as well as you can. Now Wardell just going in for this drone, more information as much as he could possibly muster for his team. Hunter's Fury is going to be in effect for TSM. Wardell looking to see if he can get the tag, but doesn't find anything with that one, Gabby.
Not quite. The spike itself is making its way through market, and Relics did anticipate this, was able to get one, couldn't follow up on it though. Wardell, I mean, Goldenboy, when it comes to him on his top, it doesn't matter what agent he's on, just effective completely with his lineup.
It's filthy, it really is. And that actually looked great. He landed the paranoia, but Wardell still had a sniper rifle and was able to see. So it just did not pan out well for them there. Drone with the Guardian. And we got any Guardian users in the chat? Because this gun slaps. It's really, really good.
Are you a Guardian user, Goldenboy?
I am not.
Are you an advocate?
No. I will use my Prime Skin Vandal with the laser beam sounds because it sounds like Halo, and I'll just commit to that.
I'm mad because I totally missed the Prime Skin.
Oh wow! Yeah, no, you missed the laser beams.
Yep, it was that thing that I said, oh, I'm gonna do it, and everyone I play with, they already bought it. But in the end, I missed out on my opportunity. Yep, I just forgot to hit the button.
It's just always hit the button, man. Come on,
always gotta
hit the button.
But anyway, as far as obviously Cloud9, one member standing, hoping to hold on to the weapon as much as possible, and TSM are just looking to try and pry it from his hands. So that's going to be the end here. 4-7, TSM pulling ahead in this one. Effective use on the attacker side. When it comes to Ascent in general, it's not yet determined really whether it favors attacker or defense. You have to give it to TSM through the way they've been able to push through the narrow chokes. That's one of the most difficult things to do, especially when you're not opting to make a rotation through mid connector and clear that out. But Cloud9, on the other hand, they're also electing to keep most of their defenders directly on the sites, using things like trap wires to cover market and bottom of mid instead of positioning actual agents there.
Ascent has been a fun map to try and analyze and dive further into, because I'm still like you said, I'm unsure. Like we have like a good understanding of split, changes aside, and they were pretty significant. You know, we kind of wrap our heads around this one, whereas like Ascent, it's still a little fresh. I think players are now starting to find a groove with it. Back when the game first came out and Ascent was featured, everyone was trying to fight after that mid area, but with how wide open it is, it's almost like just pointless to go for that in the beginning. But we are waiting now for an execute. So that was smart. They dropped the wall down and then didn't actually have anyone on top of it, at least from what I could tell. Rolling Thunder, though, is going to be in play as Hayes is going to be a rock to the side alongside with Sub Rosa. But Cutler, while all that was going on, did manage to place that spike down on the A site. So look at the amount of attention that was wrapped around, forcing all of Cloud9 to now focus on a retake. Meanwhile, TSM, they're going to be making their way around from the attacker side. They got to get there quickly.
Oh, that ended up pulling so much attention, and now Cloud9 have made their way to Rafters, but this is a choke that will be anticipated by TSM. They're making sure nobody's coming through the flanks. Trap wires have been set up for that effectively. This Brimstone's going to be coming through tree rooms to offer that effective cross, but here it is directly from A main. Wardell positioned effectively, gets flashed out, but it doesn't matter. You can sidestep it, and Cloud9 have no one left to try and keep this alive in this round.
That was just next. I mean, well, everyone died there, but you know, I mean, because it's fine, right? You're going into the half, everyone can die. Even though I'm all like, hey man, stats. Anyway, moving forward, that was such a brilliant play. I love that play so much. Everything about it, pulling the attention aside, executing on the site, like that right there was just a great example of how far a lot of these players have taken this game in a very short amount of time. And again, Cloud9 just weren't expecting it.
They really weren't. I mean, the fact that when you end up using the Rolling Thunder, and yes, in an area like B main, it does cover a lot of it, but the dark cover in that entryway was enough to prevent Cloud9 from really following up, nor was anyone there to do so yet. Instead, they all got drawn attention. Now we're back at pistol rounds. That's going to be the opening frag. Drone with the aggressive positioning into B main, commonly seen by defenders right at the start of these pistol rounds to try and punish in those close quarters combat situations.
And Drone loves doing that, by the way. He'll take that fight, you know, 9 times out of 10, and he'll win that fight 9 times out of 10. That's just how comfortable he is. And every single time I see him on that Phoenix, it is always, I'm taking notes, you know, I'm taking notes because he's just so precise with it. But now, here comes the attack here. They're going to push right through the smoke, and look at this. Actually drops him with that shock dart, does a ton of damage, but it was not enough to get the kill. But they're down to 35 HP, this Sova. Very weak. Hopefully the Sage. Okay, the Sage is going to have the heal.
She will. And the 2 remaining defenders over on TSM side, they're forced to make this slow rotation. Drone starts to peek out, and right there behind Tetris, Sage pops up, but everyone else, you have the Sova positioned in A main to send out that drone for intel. It's no secret that TSM is still hanging on the rafters. There's another one from Drone, but in the end, it's the 1v1 Goldenboy.
Yeah, and also you have that shock arrow. So the slow orb is placed, preventing Mitch from trying to get this angle. And that is going to have to be just Hayes going right for this one. And he had to commit to it. He had no choice but to commit to that defuse. Slow orb was really smart. Also have to give credit where credit is due to Drone, because he dropped the molly right in front of Tens, forcing Tens to go over to the left of Drone. And then that allowed Hayes to nail that shot. That said, though, a big round win for Cloud9, hands down. They needed this one. They went down into this 8-4. Now looking a little bit better. They're going to have some guns to work with this round. They can easily make this into a 6-8 situation for them. Let's see how they're able to do this, as kind of getting a little bit of I don't want to say like a default, but you know, you always, sometimes you see a lot of players like to just put pressure at mid. I don't think it's necessary, but a lot of players do like doing that, and Shinobi downs Hayes instantly there, finds one in front. Just look at that. Relics.
That intel.
Yeah, very well done.
Grabbed over. Sova knew that nobody was coming directly on the flank, and mid gave Cloud9 just the agency to move directly into this site. Tens, a great pickup to clear out over in this defender spawn area. And now with that, it's just a lonely Brimstone.
A lonely shorty.
Yeah, lonely shorty, you know. He needs a shorty. Everybody needs a shorty.
You could throw it. You could throw it from this distance, maybe do like 20 HP.
Clonk him in the head, you know?
Yeah. I think that works out. It's just like the way he's holding this angle, crouch down.
Maybe you throw them off enough where then they end up shooting themselves with their better weapon. And that's the ultimate 200 IQ stat.
If I will find a way to make that one happen.
Yeah.
I will most certainly find a way. Big round win, by the way, for Cloud9. I mentioned before at the beginning of the round, winning that pistol round, just giving them that moment to get back into this one.
Whenever in any kind of tactical shooter too, when you think about a new map coming to the fray as an option, you'll sometimes have some teams adopt it early to get an edge on the competition, come up with some strategies for themselves to really edge them out. But then on the opposite end, sometimes everyone is still figuring out what those strats are going to be. So if Cloud9 has some pieces on the attack to try and really dishevel TSM, as they're probably going to default to what you see traditionally here, 2 over towards A site, 2 on B site, 1 hovering in the market area to keep the eyes on mid, as it is going to be more of an A positioning from the side of Cloud9.
The paranoia from Omen at the beginning of the game prompted everyone to abandon their positioning. It didn't quite pull attention, but that was good use of utility there to not really allow them to take that aggressive angle. Now they start to creep back in. On the other side of the map, you'll have the Brim and the Cypher working alongside one another. Let's see what Sub Rosa and Cutler can whip together. There goes the push on mid, which you will see players do. They'll smoke out that mid archway and then creep in, but Wardell was there and read that one like an open book. Tried to see if he can get a kill right through the cyber cage, but it did not come to fruition there. They're just going to be held back for the moment. because of that Molotov. And Sub Rosa inside of the dark cover actually gets himself 2. Color finds a headshot. Sub Rosa wasn't able to stay alive there long enough. Shinobi got the better of him there, trades out the gun, but Wardell is going to take his life. And that is going to be C9 losing out for the first time in this half here, but certainly was just Wardell rotating around quickly enough and had just all the intel necessary. And then Sub Rosa, massive play inside of that dark cover.
Yeah, if you look at kind of the way that the defense ended up responding there, with Drone having his sights over on mid, the dark cover was there, but not being able to hear any movement through mid, you had a feeling they were either going towards A or B, with more of the vision being had over on A, immediately popping as they made their appearance. And TSM instead is responding, directing themselves over to the B site, but there you go, already getting flashed out and just having to keep themselves into B main, with a rotation potentially coming from Drone on the defense.
Yeah, and Relix played the paranoia on that same corner. Obviously, Relix doesn't know that he did tag I think he tagged the Sage and the Sova in the last round. But he did get that kill there onto Hayes, so now sight's going to be wide open. But here comes Drone as he's stuck inside of the cyber cage, but does manage to line up the target there against Relix. But Shinobi, 7 HP, not a lot of health there.
And that's the plan.
Rotation. Yeah, exactly.
Directly on site. And as far as the rotations from the defense, I mean, you have Phoenix that is stuck kind of there in shed. Mitch, with his aggression, he's just trying to clean up anybody before they can rotate directly onto the site. Tens gets that entry, but is traded out for Cutler. So Drone has a great follow-up. It's the 2v2 situation. The post plant has been taken.
Oh, nice shots from Mitch. Drone needs to win this one out. Doesn't have a lot of time to do so, but he's going to run away. And then in the back of the side, you're going to have Vice just waiting, actually on top of the corner. So that was going to be the run it back play. Should know exactly where he is. Mitch gets the kill. That's going to be his 3rd one for that round. Cloud9 managed to bounce back after that one. And this has been a great game.
Yeah, 7-9 on the scoreboard. 4-8 going in from the first half, which isn't a terrible place to be if you're Cloud9. Obviously, they've made up a lot of steam in the meantime. The bank's looking somewhat flush over on for TSM. They're still holding on to those Phantoms.
Yeah. You got, I think Hayes may have just picked up a Sheriff and light armor. Yeah. So the options are going to be very limited here. This is a critical round for TSM. They have to try and hold this one off. And if Hayes is able to get a kill with the Sheriff, might actually give him a gun to start to operate with here. There's Rolling Thunder.
Rolling Thunder.
Yeah, they're gonna, and no one's gonna be on site actually, so they're gonna go in there for the retake, and Cutler nails a headshot right on top of Vice, thus kind of slowing down this push. You got the spike over by Wine. They're gonna be playing over there by A Long. Here's Skylar actually playing right outside of this one, and they're trying to pincer them in, Gabby, but it didn't work out. Now it's gonna be open in the backfield. What do they opt to do here?
That's the question if they push in. I mean, that orbital strike pretty much locked the remaining attackers here into A main. There's still 45 seconds to go on the clock, so some movement, but
so good.
At this point, you do have Omen over on the B site to potentially either draw some attention or scout out how many defenders are remaining away from the A site. But Sova, he's still holding strong into Rafters, ready to peek anybody that pops out through those arches.
This was so good. Okay, so they put dark cover on that archway because they wanted to give them the idea that they were going to be rotating out. That said, they made some noise and pulled away some of the attention there. Unfortunately, Mullen was not able to stay alive and get kills, but it was good because it actually took 2 players away. Now they just got to worry about Wardell on site here, but Wardell, that's easier said than done, and he gets himself 3 kills out of that one. The spike is down, but he is letting them know that his presence is certainly going to be felt here, and that is going to be the round, a big one for TSM, LeTigress.
Buddy, you gotta give it to TSM for their patience as well, because definitely some efforts being made by the Omen, throwing out the utility to try and pay as much attention to the B site as possible. But Wardell, so confident in being able to anchor a site in his lonesome, and as soon as he got that intel from the Cypher ultimate, then easy cleanup as far as he makes it seems.
And he'll let them plant there in that instance, right? There's no reason for him to expose himself. They already showed their hand. He knows exactly where they're going to be. You never want to full commit on a rotation there. While it did certainly seem like that, they made a ton of noise. You got to leave that one player on that site. And that is exactly why TSM are up 10-7 here. Let's see, though, how they're going to be able to work around on this one. Round number 18. Been a great matchup for game one in the grand finals on Ascent, which you know, you and I were talking before we went live. I didn't expect that we were going to see Ascent, and yet here we are. 2020, what a year.
I really didn't, especially when you consider that Cloud9 has gained a lot of their victories off of the shoulders of Ten's performance. I'm not completely sure about their semifinals, but I know throughout the quarters there wasn't a single game they won where he wasn't top frag in the round, which is great and all as far as his performance, but for the team itself says something about where they rely for the power. So interesting to see them playing out here on Ascent in an effective manner so far.
Yeah, on Sage. And I was talking to Brent earlier. I hate to give him two shout outs when one broadcast, but I was talking to him earlier. Line up with a bulldog. That, you know, I felt like Sage players were kind of going to get the you know, the crappy end of the bargain, because a lot of players are just going to be left there, you know, maybe bottom fragging because they have to try and stay alive. And then you have Tens, who is arguably the top fragger for this team, picking up this very critical support agent, Wardell, doing his best to stay alive there, but it's Tens on top of the platform. Look at this with the wall. This is how you get clever. Oh no, but Drone is just a little bit smarter there with his aim. And he nails the shot. It's going to prompt Cloud9 to have to move around this, but Cutler cannot stay alive. Neither can Sub Rosa. And that, even though time was ticking down, is going to be a round win for Cloud9.
My, oh my, 8-10 on the scoreboard currently as Cloud9 keep themselves here in game number one. We'll take a look at this again as Mitch is able to effectively clear through that doorway. And that really sets up the rest of the team.
You do not anticipate that player coming from defense all that often. He was holding the angle looking at B main, given where they were pushing from, and then he just wraps around the side there. But all right, moving on though here to our potential opportunity for Cloud9 to bring this within one. Let's see.
Keeping to the same dark cover before, but a faster rotation from Omen to join the rest as Relics has joined them as they try to push through mid. Low drone going through, spotted by Cypher directly on the site. It's not been easy to move in.
Oh, Sabrosa, he was in wine just waiting for him. Shinobi tried to just direct that spray on the other side, but it didn't work out that well. They do manage, though, to get onto the site. So before Drone can even do anything with this, he's going to have to remove this wall there. And then Wardell gets two with the Hunter's Fury. There's a player on the other side of the wall there. He's going to be inside of the dark cover. It's Tens inside of it. Peekaboo, but it's Drone who saw you. And that will be another round for TSM. But I liked the, you know, the moxie, if I use a word from the 1950s, on Tens to be inside of that dark cover there. That actually took a lot of guts.
In general, there was some surprise positioning that played a role during that round. For instance, Wine not always going to find someone there because of its limited view in terms of where the push is coming from, unless you have that intel knowing you're trying to catch them. So being able to pop directly onto the side of the Brimstone left an opening, but nonetheless, it was back and forth battle between them. And run it back right here to kick things off, mostly for information gathering, as Drone tends to enjoy using it for.
Yeah, the run it back and the way that Drone uses it, if you find value with the kill, awesome. But if you get information, that is just as important there.
Especially when executing from the position he was. There's so much that you can gather just looking over mid, whether it be the direct entry points into the sites, the fact that there's an absence there, then you know there's more likely to be a commit one way or another.
Yep.
And not just shots galore to try and throw some sights off, but that's a pop into the head of the So unfortunately, down one on the side of the attackers, but not nearly as detrimental if you find that self in that same position as the defense.
I didn't talk about this, but we also have, if I'm correct, we got ourselves a little cheeky Aries in play. Always a fan of that. Love me some Aries.
Perhaps with some structures to break through the way that the doors work on this map as well. Now Cutler, I think he's aware that he's got some company here. Did that flash end up going onto Shinobi?
It did. It caught Shinobi, but it didn't get Cutler, but Shinobi still gets the kill. Maybe he really is a ninja. We have to talk to Bob about that. Anyway, looking forward though, only a few seconds remaining, and there's Mitch. He's got to just take this spike and put it down as soon as he possibly can. It is going to be a 1v1, a Sova mirror match. Oh, sorry, stand corrected. 1v2, but the Sova's still going to be left alive. Wardell gets the kill. It doesn't matter. It came down to the mirror, but whatever. Wardell wins it. He's got 26 kills. LeTigress, he's fragging out.
The time that it took for Mitch, of course, he had to plant it. He was in a tough position, but not enough intel for him to know exactly where he should have been looking for the peak, especially with two defenders ready to collapse upon him from both sides. But nonetheless, this puts it within game point for TSM, 12-8 currently on the scoreboard, but not enough funds available to get all the purchasing that they want to. Luckily, because they have the lead in rounds, then they're not going to be sweating that too much. Cloud9, on the other hand, have to use everything in their arsenal currently to put them ahead. And 4 ultimates can't help you do that.
They are going to have to play this Rolling Thunder out. Early frag, though, that first blood will be so critical in this instance. And Sub-Rose is just taking presence in mid right away. He doesn't care. He's just going for it.
Reckless, pushing forward. I mean, you see that there's a Cypher and a Brim neck to neck directly through that mid connector. And Sub-Rose is the first one to get the pink onto Vice. So luckily, Cutler is able to get some follow-up as well. Now, 4 still standing for TSM on the defense. They're scrambling towards the A site, but not enough information to know if this is a full commit over to A. Cloud9, on the other hand, a bit low on numbers in terms of attackers. They are outnumbered by the defense, so choosing to play this slow, being that they still have about 50 seconds to work with.
So it appeared as if we were going to see this full commit on A, but the Sova drone actually slowed it down, forced the bomb to make its way over to T side and then wrap mid. They're still looking to play this A, but Wardell stuffed out Mitch, not allowing, and Color actually just tossed his webcam over and tried to give him, you know, maybe a Christmas present a little early on. Fortunately, it's not how this game works. Now Wardell's gonna be playing low, doesn't find a shot there. Make sure you quote whenever Wardell misses. But it won't matter because his teammates certainly don't, and that is going to be TSM getting the first game here in the grand finals. And LeTigress, this was certainly a very unique game because we saw 10s in a row that I certainly didn't expect.